So I have lived in LA for 3 years. I just graduated from Full Sail University with a degree in media communications. So I was really excited to graduate with that. And the last 3 years, I've kind of been building a strong, solid foundation for myself because I've lived many different lives, it seems. I've moved all over the country, and I've been able to gain a lot of inspiration from different types of people and different ways of living, which is kind of what brings me back to wanting to live creatively and build a career around that, because I think the experiences that I have had has really helped me uh, be able to pull in a lot of different influences and relate to a lot of different people, and being able to use all of that in a creative way has been really powerful, not just for other people but also for me personally. I think it's really just been a way of feeding my soul, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've really made the effort for the last 3 years while I was going to school to build a solid foundation and lifestyle for myself so that I could actually focus on doing that. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yes, I am interning right now as a creative director for a director. His name is Darren Craig. He does a lot of music videos in the past, and now currently he kind of does all things creative for a music company called Kid McCorna. So basically, what he does is he does everything from like social media branding to what is going to be on stage on tour, all of the merchandise, all everything creative basically for each of the artists on the label. And so what I get to do, which is really fun, is I get to go to all the shoots and ask all the questions that I need. I'm becoming very proficient in Photoshop and Lightroom, and luckily he has a lot of knowledge on all of those things, and so any questions that I've had or will have, he's been really good at helping me figure all that stuff out. So I'm really lucky to have that. As far as my career and my internship go, I definitely would be revolving my internship around my career, so that wouldn't be an issue as far as like scheduling or when you would need me or anything like that. But it's a great resource to have while I'm building my career, because essentially anything I do need help with or have questions on, I have someone directly at my fingertips that I'm hands-on working with on a daily basis. Why did you choose the story or this one? So I chose the rap because I know you guys have been around for a long time, since 2009, I think, and you guys are well respected. I've read your articles. I think that they all have very strong points without being too far on one side or opinionated. I think you guys have a very strong understanding of media in general and all things media. I mean, everything from like culture to photos and new movies coming out. I mean, ultimately, for any news or questions media related, I know that I can go to your website, I can trust the facts and get the information that I need, find it very easily. And so I really like that about you guys. You've been very consistent with your work since the beginning. I was reading back to a couple of websites where I found articles of yours from the last couple of years, and the writers seem to really know what they're talking about. And I want to be involved with a company who has integrity and is well standing in the media and entertainment world, because that's where I want to be and it's where I want to start off in a really strong manner, and something that I would like to represent and be a representative of. I think I do have a lot of really great strengths, especially as related to being an art director. One of them would be being able to work really well in a team, understanding your team's strengths and weaknesses as a whole and also as an individual, being able to kind of see when a team really needs a leader and how they respond to leadership and giving feedback and all of those things. I know that it's important to know people and really understand people, be able to connect with them and make them feel important and make them feel heard and seen, while also being able to lead and be respected and understood. And I know that things like that do take time, but I feel like it does take a very specific person to be able to bring that out in people, and I think I do a really good job of that. Another strength that I have is my ability to problem solve, as far as I know that basically everything is kind of circumstantial. Not every situation, not every problem is going to be solved in the same manner. You're working with people who all, like I said, respond differently to situations, and being able to know when something's not working is very important, and then being able to find a creative solution specific to that problem to solve the problem, or to just move forward. Not everything has to be an issue. Some things are just an obstacle where all you need is to think creatively, and you're able to kind of, sometimes even that obstacle comes in handy and your perception of something changes a little bit, and then you realize, oh, well, there might even be a better way of going about this. For example, I know with like photography and print and stuff, like trying things out and seeing if they work, that's always a good thing, while also being able to stay organized and stay on schedule. But just knowing that, if something comes up and it's not visually pleasing, or it's just not working with the rest of the editorial and something needs to change, being able to look at that and understand that can give you a whole new campaign, a whole new project that's actually 10 times more powerful than was already, thought to be. So I think that's a really great quality of mine, and I use it all the time in everyday life, not just in a career. And I think the last one I have is like real motivation and passion for what I do. Not even just creatively, although creativity really is where I want to spend all of my time. It's what I want to be doing all the time, and that's not really work. But even in jobs where it has felt like work and it has been a lot and I have been overwhelmed, I think I always push through it, and because I have a passion for doing things in a way that proves that I have integrity, that proves that I have real drive, and that I can do something. Proving myself has been something I've kind of had to do my whole life, and I think that's given me a lot of strength and been able to help me get through a lot of different situations. And as far as a work environment goes, I really believe that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Yes, I might be new at this. Yes, I might not have all the experience or as much experience as the next person, but what I do have is the ability to learn quickly and the drive to do it. I'm not someone who likes to let herself down, so if I say I'm going to do something or I make a commitment, I'm really committed to it, and I do it to the best of my ability. If I feel like I can't do something to the best of my ability, or that I know that there's something that I could do better, or there's an opportunity for me to learn, I'll always ask questions and communicate those things, because that's how you get to the top. That's how you become the best at what you do. It's not because you have all of the knowledge at your fingertips. It's because you ask questions, you communicate with other people, you have the drive to do it, and you make it happen no matter what. And that's something I've proved to myself in the past, and something that I find helps me on a daily basis with everything. So I hope that this isn't sharing too much and I'm not crossing a boundary here, but this is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, and I think it shows a lot about my character and kind of what I mean when I say I've lived a lot of different lives. One of them being when I was 17 and 18, up to the age of I think I was almost 19, I was homeless. And I was living in San Francisco at the time. I remember sitting there and thinking, like, how am I going to get out of this? And how am I going to go through this situation that I'm in and get to the other side peacefully without, being hurt and without having to go to jail and do sketchy things that I didn't want to do. And I knew there had to be some other way. So instead of stealing or robbing people or selling drugs, I found lost dogs in Golden Gate Park and waited for their owners to put up a reward poster, and I would turn the dog in and get the reward. Not only did I have that money, but I also had something to keep me warm at night. Usually dogs did help protect me from other homeless people, and the whole lifestyle is very brutal, and there's a lot of kind of weird politics that go into it, but having a dog was definitely very helpful for me, sometimes multiple dogs, and I did that for almost 2 years, and it somehow got me by. I stayed in hostels on good days, and I was able to kind of keep my nose clean and make it out on the other side. I know a lot of people my age who are homeless on the streets don't usually, and so what I've done now, and on a daily basis, I'm like super grateful for having a place to stay, having a bed to sleep in, having been able to have the opportunity to come in for a job interview because I was able to get up and take a shower this morning, and all of these things that I think a lot of people take for granted on a daily basis, I really appreciate, and that's huge for me. Everything is huge for me, and so when I do get good opportunities, I really try to make the best of them and make it all worth it. But not just that part, but I really got to know people. You're basically, when you're homeless, you're kind of an invisible person, and I had a lot of time on my hands. I would sit and observe and watch people and listen to their conversations and dream up different lives for them and for me. So I think all of that is the reason why I want to live a creative life, why I don't really feel like I have another option. It's just kind of in me, and it just kind of drives me, and so having that has really taught me some real grit, I think would be a real good word for it. I mean, I was able to work a full-time job while also going to school, and I didn't have the accountability of having to get up and go to class. I had to sit down and discipline myself and say, if I don't get this done today, I'm not going to pass my class. And not only that, but how am I going to get this done the best way possible? And I really was, I think this is just like transferred over to every single area of my life, even at other jobs I've had, where I wouldn't get paid more to do more, but I did more anyway because I was grateful for the opportunity that I had and for the job and, for what it did to me and what it provided, that I always made sure that I did more what was expected of me. So just those 2 years, which seemed to be the longest 2 years of my life, and they probably were, taught me so much about myself. this is for a lot of reasons, but just to get all of the skill set out of the way, I'm great with the creative Adobe suite, which I know is a requirement for this job. I know my art history. I can pull inspiration from different fashion campaigns, from different types of art, different years of art, different artists themselves. I know about print. I know about typography. I know about color theory. So all of those basic things that anyone needs to know to be a creative director or an art director, I do have the knowledge. So there's that, which is great. But past that, I mean, like I had just told you in this last experience that I had, I am what you guys talk about in your articles. I've lived through a different culture. I can see things from different perspectives. I am really good at writing and seeing things in new light and problem solving, and those are things that you guys do on a daily basis, not just in work for each other, but also for a large audience. And I think that my fresh perspective can really bring something to the table, and I think what you guys can teach me is extremely valuable. Me being new to all of this, I have got a really fresh mind, and I'm really excited and eager to learn more. And this isn't just a job opportunity for me, it's the beginning of my career. And I think that if you really look at my past and what I'm about, it won't take you long working with me to be able to know that I'm going to do a good job and that I'd be a really great asset to the team. And I really hope that you'll end up giving me that chance, because I'd love to prove it to you. More than just say these things, like, I'd really love for you to let me show you. Hi, so that was my mock interview. I have to say I felt really awkward doing that, but it's over now. And it's kind of over. I realized that I'm probably going to have to do this like a million times on my own. I do have a tendency to go like, and have like little moments where I shouldn't be doing that as often. I don't want to sound like a robot, of course, but I also want to make sure that I sound like I know what I'm talking about. This job was a little bit of a stretch for me. I don't know if I could fully go into this position right away, but I went for it anyway. I have this thing that I call resting, you know, how they have like resting face, and like I do have that, I think, sometimes, but also I have it with my voice as well. So I have to be really careful about that, because I think sometimes, even though I'm super genuine about what I'm saying, some weird thing in my tone, I don't know if it's because I speak English as a second language or what, but if I'm not careful, it comes off as like rude and pretentious, maybe would be a good word to describe it. So I'm gonna have to work on that. I have a little bit of that with the face as well, where I feel like when I smile, it's kind of just like, ooh, feel like that. So I'll have to work on that. Also, I'm hoping to add like a little bit more humor into the situation. It's hard when I'm not like working off of somebody else's energy to kind of like know where I can meet them, or how they kind of work. I do think that everything I said in my interview was accurate. I don't feel like if I got that job, I would for sure have to step up my game, but I don't think that I wouldn't do that. I think I would make sure that I did a good job at that, and I, made it worth their time and my time. But I think I did all right. I think maybe I should have done more research, like, or shown them about a lot of research that I did on their company. I know that's kind of like can be impressive. I think I could have done more of, you see what I mean with the I feel like I could have talked more about my skill set with Adobe, because I have really been working on that, and I do have some more skill sets like in photography and things like that, but I felt like I was definitely trying to sell myself more than I was my experience, because I don't have a whole lot of experience. So I thought if I sell my personality, my soul, might get the job. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'd like some feedback on that if you have it, on whether or not I might have talked about myself too much and not my skill level. So that's something that I'm going to take into consideration. I think I'm going to try to practice better posture in general. So I could have maybe had better posture and maybe smiled a lot more, but I just don't want to seem like I'm not being genuine. So a balance. And I think I'm going to probably watch this a couple more times and really dig deep. I'm sure I'll be thinking of things as I'm falling asleep of what I could have done differently, but at the moment, that's what I got, and I did my best to storytell, and I think that showed. I think I did have some pretty like cool stories. Like I would have wanted to listen to them and probably hire myself. And if the person's like a little crazy, maybe they would feel the same way. But anyway, thanks a lot to everyone. It's been really great looking at your work, and I appreciate the slack I've been, given a little bit as far as like my circumstances, and I apologize for turning in the late work and all those things. So hopefully this project redeems itself. Thanks.